Hey, welcome back. Yesterday we talked about some other ways to build resilience, SEL, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, all kinds of good stuff like that. I want to get into some more adaptations and integrations. And how do we get kids to, when it comes to mindfulness, how do we get kids to sit still, which seems like a totally bonkers idea. Some of you have heard me talk about this study from Lev Vygotsky, who was a child development researcher, and he did this study trying to get kids to stand still. I think it was 8-year-olds, right? If you ever tried to get 8-year-olds to stand still, you know how it's going to end, right? Don't give it away. But basically, the point is, what he did was he got these 8-year-olds together, stand still, go, right? 5 minutes later, they're running around all over the place, right? No surprise. So he calls them back in. All right, everybody, I want you to stand still for as long as you can, but this time, imagine that you're like a knight guarding a castle. And what do you think happens? Right? This time when we make it play acting, a competition, a little bit of a game, using our imaginations, the kids can now stand still for like 15 or 20 minutes. So just by tapping into imagination, right, kids are now able to still activate their prefrontal cortex and quiet down their amygdala, and the object of attention is not breathing, the object of attention is not sounds or the body, the object of attention is play. And like that is just so cool to be able to think about doing that. And I think the best child professionals know this already. Let's make it into a game, right? The last class could sit silently for 10 breaths. I bet you can't beat that record, right? These other kinds of things like that. But the point is, play for little kids is their natural language. And it also is in a sense for us adults too, right? Think about visualization, sit still like a mountain, right? Yoga, press up like an upward facing dog, right? All of these actually work for any age, really. But it can be helpful when we think, how do we actually do this kind of thing? So bringing it in to play, but what else, especially as kids get older, right? Music. I love music. Music, great coping skill, right? For kids with mental health challenges, right? Make a list of coping skills. And as a therapist, they'll come back in, they'll be like, oh, Dr. Willard, had a bad weekend. Did you look at your coping list? Well, my music didn't work for me. And I'll say, well, try listening to music mindfully. And they're like, well, what's that mean? And I'll say, well, try putting on your earbuds, crank up the volume, right? Put on your favorite song and just listen to one instrument. Listen to just the piano. If your mind goes to the drums or the lyrics, just go back to the piano. And the kids will come back and they'll be like, because curiosity actually provokes mindfulness, and curiosity actually reduces anxiety. They're kind of inversely correlated in the brain. So they get curious and they're like, Spotify says I've listened to this song 900 times. I never noticed this thing about that song. Like, isn't that amazing? What if you brought that same kind of attention to other things in your life and things that you don't like? And so using music in that way, again, when breathing is played out, like another kid told me, it's like, yeah, pick your favorite song, listen to it in that way and see what actually happens. And then bring that awareness to other things, or so that's just one way of using music. Do that for 5 minutes rather than focus on your breath for 5 minutes before you start in on your homework, right? Gather your focus, tune it in. Before you start your writing, listen to a song, just one instrument. Another variation with music, where the more actually of a greater emotional vocabulary we have, the more words we have for emotions, it's directly correlated with self-regulation. And so if you give kids more words for their emotions, and you also teach them how to recognize their emotions, they become more well-regulated. And so using music actually can provoke emotions without like totally triggering somebody. But we've all been to the mall and we're walking around and suddenly the song takes us back to our high school prom or whatever it might be. Actually, emotional memory and music are next to each other in the brain where we process them. So I'll say to kids, put on, any age actually, put on your earbuds, or we'll listen as a group, right? Notice how your body feels when you listen to the angry song. oh, my heart's pounding, right? My temperature's going up, my palms are clenching. Okay, that's what anger feels like in the body. Can you make a different choice next time you feel those physical sensations? Listen to a sad song. Oh, my throat, I have a lump in my throat, my body feels heavy, my eyes are watering. That's what sadness feels like. What choice can you make besides self-harm? Can you reach out to a friend? Can you do something else? Right? What does silly song feel like in the body? What does an anxious song feel like? Like my kids are really into Star Wars right now. The Imperial March from Star Wars, like don 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 don, right? But it's like, oh, that provokes a little bit of anxiety, right? Okay, what can you do with that? I'm gonna press my feet into the ground. But we're teaching kids to recognize their emotions in these ways. Right? Bring mindfulness into sports. Mental fitness training is what coaches call this. Mental resilience, mental toughness. So many, right? Simone Biles in the Olympics talking about using mindfulness. Leo Messi, the soccer player, using mindfulness. Visualizations, co-regulation, breathing in together, breathing out together. The Lakers mindfully putting their socks on. There's so many variations, ways to bring this into all kinds of things that we're doing. So these are just a few more ways to think about integrating into the day EI skills, social emotional intelligence skills, mindfulness skills, self-regulation stuff, just a few more ideas, because we need to come at it from all angles. And so please let me know what other angles you're coming at it from, what other fun stuff you're doing. Looking forward to hearing from everybody and getting the conversation going, and we'll be meeting again really soon live if you do want to share more ideas and talk in person about the challenge and about the course too.